Hello, everybody, and welcome into a Thursday edition of the Computer America Show. This is actually our pre-show. Our live video stream has just gone live. So, hi, everybody. And we got a terrific show planned for you. In the second hour, CASIO is going to be here talking about their back-to-school electronics, calculators, that sort of thing, graphing calculators, finance calculators, all different types of scientific calculators. We're going to have them on in the second half of the program. And in the first hour, we're very happy to have Slimware Utilities is going to be joining us, talking about all of their slim computers, slim cleaners, slim drivers, and also a new announcement possibly will be there. So a new version of something new is being launched. We'll talk about it. Will Treves is here, General Manager of Slimware Utilities.
1 minute until showtime.
So sit back, relax, enjoy 2 hours of Computer America coming right at you, right here. Stay with us. I'm excited. Ben, you're excited?
Excited is but a word for the feeling I am feeling.
Ah, okay.
long form of yes.
A long form of yes, which is a good thing. Okay, everybody. So I think that's about as, excuse me, behind the scenes as we're going to get for this show. And we'll be starting in about 20 seconds. Ten seconds.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And it's Thursday! All right. Almost.
You know, I hear you have that crowd pretty much under your thumb.
Yeah.
And, not saying that they're here without their consent, but yeah. I hear you can actually help them along a little bit.
Well, how about this? It's one day before Friday.
There you go.
Exactly. Anyhow, welcome into a Thursday edition of the Computer America program. We've got a terrific show planned for you. Coming up in the second hour, CASIO. CASIO is here, right? You remember them, CASIO? I mean, they're an amazing company. I mean, I grew up with the CASIO watches. I mean, that's how I remember them. And I actually have, and still do today, have a CASIO keyboard, music keyboard that I play. I've got a Steinway piano in the living room, and I wind up playing the CASIO keyboard. It's just, it's a wonderful sounding instrument.
Yeah, they're one of those weird companies. The other one that pops into my mind is, of course, Yamaha, where like they make motorcycles and stuff like that. But hey, they also make musical instruments. They also make a lot of technology. You wouldn't think that they do so much, but Casio is the same way. Calculators, keyboards, cameras, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So in the first hour, yes, we have Slimware Utilities joining us here. Slimware Utilities. Yeah. Going to be joining us here in the first hour. Longtime friend of the Computer America. And we have a gentleman here tonight who is really the general manager of Slimware Utilities. Will Treves is here, general manager. And we're going to be speaking to him about what's going on at Slimware Utilities. Windows 10 is now here, and we're going to be talking about what Slimware Utilities is doing to make your Windows 10 experience an even more rich experience. And looking forward to speaking with him tonight. Now, if you have a comment or question, you can give us a call, 347-884-8888. 8881. 347-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. You can do that. You can also, if you're radio shy, we have a special mechanism. Just go to any of our Computer America website pages. On the upper right hand corner, it says submit a question. Just click that and you'll get a submit a question page. And when you do that, it'll just ask you to put your name in and submit a question. Hit the submit button, and Ben and I will see that question instantly appear on our screens, and we'll ask the guest our question. Okay, so that's pretty much how it works. And again, but the easiest way is calls at 347-884-8881. Anything else you want to mention before we get started?
Personally, no. I think we have a lot to talk about and we have a lot to do, so better to just jump into it.
Okay, well, let's jump ahead. Our guest tonight, as I said, is Slimware Utilities. They are a U.S.-based company, U.S.-based software company founded on the premise that cloud computing and crowdsourced applications will revolutionize the performance of personal computers. Specifically, they provide consumers with downloadable software and services that clean, repair, update, and optimize personal computers. Their flagship products include Slim Computer, Slim Cleaner, and Slim Drivers. All use cloud and crowdsourcing to gather input from IT professionals and make unique, personalized decisions that improve a consumer's computer hardware and software configurations. Now, up for discussion tonight, yes, Windows 10 and the things you need to consider when you make the transition to Microsoft's latest operating system. Specifically, we'll hear what Slimware Utilities is doing to help consumers like you upgrade to Windows 10. All right, now joining us tonight is Will Treves. Will is the general manager of Slimware Utilities. Will, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
I'm very well. Good evening. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure, Will. Now, this is your first time on Computer America. And why don't you give our listeners a little bit of background about yourself and what you do over at Slimware?
Sure, by all means. And again, thank you for having me. I've been working with Slimware Utilities for probably about a year and a half now, and my sort of the opportunity I had to work with them started when another company for whom I work, MindSpark Interactive, purchased Slimware Utilities. We were looking for a industry-leading, preeminent developer and publisher of desktop software. We liked what we saw at Slimware. We bought the company, and I led that acquisition. And post-acquisition, I have been working very closely with the team at Slimware. Particularly with Bob Bryant, who I think you may have had on the show a couple of weeks ago or last week.
Yes.
And he and I run the business together. We're partners in crime in trying to make Slimware Utilities the best company that it can be. And it's been a terrific experience, and it's a great group of people down there at Slimware Utilities who care passionately about the products that we make. My background is I've been working in consumer-facing software for a while now. I actually did a stint in video games. I worked at PlayStation, and I worked at Atari. Funny you should mention Casio, which is one of the great brands of the 1980s.
Yes.
I spent some time at Atari as well, and then moved sort of sideways from video games, which is kind of one flavor of consumer software, to MindSpark that does many other types of non-video game software, but software that is nonetheless used by consumers in large numbers. And that's how I got involved with Slimware. And like I say, it's been a terrific experience, and it's a great company.
Right, and you mentioned MindSpark Interactive. MindSpark, so they acquired Slimware, and we've had MindSpark on the show. They make a wide variety of different consumer products. And so, but Slimware, I think, was a slightly different direction for them, acquiring a technology company like Slimware.
Yeah, you know, I think Slimware has many things similar with the MindSpark kind of traditional business, but it has many other things or it has many things that are very different. To give you an example, MindSpark's traditional business, that what it's been doing for many years now, and very, very successfully, are products that are free to the user. The user doesn't have to pay for them. Slimware also has free products, but we have premium products as well that the user, you know, pays for. And so that, you know, that is a you know, a significant difference in or a significant departure in the way MindSpark's been in its product portfolio. You know, actually charging users for premium software is new and different for the MindSpark way of doing things, and I've learned a lot, and it's been a great success.
Excellent. Now, by the way, for those of you who are also watching the live stream, you might want to know that Ben has the technology to display everything in our live video. Just click go to the software the lounge, the show lounge at computeramerica.com, and then the video stream will begin automatically. And Ben will can actually display different portions of the Slimware Utilities website. He's actually running some of the software now, like for example, Slim Cleaner. You can actually see it working. So Computer America becomes truly an interactive experience for it. So we highly encourage you to watch the show, not only listen to Computer America. So I understand, Will, that Slimware Utilities is launching a new version of Slim Cleaner Plus 2.2, and that's designed specifically to support Windows 10?
That is correct. We have launched the newest version of our sort of flagship PC cleaning and optimization software, Slim Cleaner Plus, as you say. And the big news there is that, you know, if you have had any interaction with a PC in the last few weeks, unless you've been living under a rock, you probably will have noticed that Windows 10 is upon us. It has arrived, and our new version of Slim Cleaner Plus includes cleaning for Windows Edge, which is the Windows 10 sort of replacement for the venerable Windows Internet Explorer or Microsoft Internet Explorer browser. That, you know, Internet Explorer has been sort of pushed to the side after its many years of service, and did, you know, probably about 20 years of active duty, Internet Explorer in its various incarnations. But Microsoft has kind of pushed it to the side and is putting it out to pasture. Instead, there's a new browser within Windows 10 called Microsoft Edge, and Slim Cleaner Plus now provides functionality to enable you to optimize your experience of using Edge, and that is the big release that we have in Slim Cleaner Plus 2.2. We now support, you know, Windows 10 and Edge within Windows 10.
Now, I think the obvious question to ask you is, obviously, we've been talking about Windows 10 for, well, long before when it was just starting to be rumored and coming in. We've had our correspondents talk about it, getting opinions and everything. And we've also been talking a lot about when the Edge browser. But one of the things that we didn't talk about, and I'm going to ask you this question, is why is it important to clean your browser? Okay, I didn't know that that the browser needed cleaning. So maybe why don't you expand on that?
Sure, by all means. What people may not appreciate on their sort of journey throughout the internet is that as you roam around the World Wide Web and enjoy the content that is now available to us, you are potentially accumulating a lot of junk in your browser a lot of files, small files that accumulate over time, that can potentially, bloat and slow down the performance of your browser. And you may indeed be picking up, tracking cookies that tend to be, very benign, but it is best practice, and it is kind of usually a good hygienic step, as it were, to periodically flush out your browser, clear it out, get rid of the junk, get rid of the bloat that you may have accumulated over time of using the internet.
Now, are you specifically talking about the cache, the internet cache?
Sure. I mean, I think there are sort of probably three kind of areas of files that you may be building up behind the scenes. One is cookies. The other one is browsing history. And the third is cached data. And in each case, potentially, users may feel that either that this is a waste of disk space, and they would benefit from cleaning these excess files out of the browser, or indeed, their browsing history may expose private information that they would otherwise like to keep private. And so, like I say, it's sort of generally considered a good hygienic step to periodically flush out your browser, clean it up, and remove the traces of your activity that you have been accumulating over your time using the internet.
So, Ben, did you have a question? I just heard you say something.
No, it's just it seems like the entire product line of Slimware Utilities. You talk about you mentioned something there. Little key phrase was proper computer hygiene or proper browser hygiene, and it sounds ridiculous because no one's going to take their toothbrush to their computer, but it's that thing that I think separates just the average user and someone who seems to know their way around a system. And hygiene isn't just taking the canned air to the fan and cleaning all that stuff out and getting the dust out. It's also just all these little junk things that you may get along the line. Cleaning out your registry, cleaning out your cookies, and all that kind of stuff. Computer hygiene and Slimware Utility seems to be like their niche, is to perform that basic hygiene. And it's nice to hear that you guys have extended that to the browser. And it's you can install a whole new operating system. The browser probably isn't going to change that much. Like all those cookies and settings and all that bloat is going to follow you even to Windows 10.
Yeah, and indeed, that's right. Just because you have upgraded your operating system does not mean that the kind of bloat and the kind of junk and the kind of unwanted files that you can pick up go away, or that you won't be accumulating those under the within the Windows 10 ecosystem. Windows 10 and Microsoft Edge within Windows 10 is no different, in the sense that as you use the internet, your browser is just collecting these files and being weighed down by them, and you are accumulating your browser history, and you're accumulating, your cache is growing. Whether it's on any version of Microsoft's operating systems, that is the case. And so we wanted to extend the support that Slim Cleaner Plus offers in previous iterations of Microsoft's operating systems to Windows 10, because it is no different. Right.
Okay. And that's a good point. And again, Slim Cleaner Plus 2.2. Now, is it launched? I mean, is it now available? Can one download that and get it?
Yes.
Okay.
If you go to slimcleaner.com.
Okay. Excellent.
That's where you find it.
Excellent. Yep. All right. So now you also launched a Windows 10 support in another one of your Slimware products, driver update. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is indeed true. That was actually a couple of months ago. We we beat Windows 10 to the punch, and in I think July we updated last month in July. God, time flies. We updated our driver update software for compatibility with Windows 10 so that consumers on Windows 10 can automatically update their PC drivers to ensure that all their hardware, whether it's printers, scanners, monitors, video cards, networking functionality, will work more smoothly with the new operating system. So yes, driver update, which is our kind of second flagship product in conjunction with Slim Cleaner Plus, provides support for Windows 10 as well. So with those two products, you can really get the most out of the new Windows 10 operating system experience.
And drivers are these little pieces of code that are so important for everything that runs on your computer, like your printer. You need a driver for that, or or your monitor. I mean, they're all important. And if you don't have the proper driver loaded into your computer, that piece of hardware, or that component, or that part of your computer system may not run. And so it's extremely important that you have the latest drivers. And Slimware will ensure that you have the latest drivers for Windows, for your brand new Windows, shiny new Windows 10 system, operating system.
That's exactly right. I mean, the people are somewhat mystified by what drivers are. I mean, they know they're important, but they may not know exactly what a driver is. And really what a driver is if you imagine you have your operating system, which is, we've been talking about Windows 10 a lot today, and so let's take Windows 10 as an example. You have your operating system, and then you have the hardware that makes up your computer, whether that is obvious things like the monitor you have, or the printer you have, the things that you can touch and feel on your desk. Or then there's hardware that's less obvious, whether it is video cards or sound cards or things that you cannot really see because they're in the guts, so they're in the plumbing of your computer. But they are equally important. And hardware manufacturers, the companies that manufacture these hardware devices, whether it's a printer, or whether it's a sound card, or it's graphic cards, are constantly updating the drivers to optimize the performance of the hardware. And if you want to optimize your computer's performance, then it is best practice to find and locate and update your drivers. And doing that is not a fun process.
No,
there are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of drivers out there, and they all map to the potentially dozens of hardware devices that you have within your computer and attached to your computer. And going out and manually finding the right driver that goes with the right hardware to keep your PC optimized is not how you would probably want to spend your day.
Right.
Life is too short to be trawling through the internet, trying to find the correct drivers. And so it is a cumbersome process if done manually. And so that's what Driver Update does. Driver Update and Slim Drivers, its companion product, is software that allows you to seamlessly and effortlessly find the drivers that are right for your machine and get them with the click of a button, so you can go about your day and spend your life doing more interesting and valuable and productive things than fruitlessly searching the internet for the right driver for your sound card or video card or printer or monitor or whatever it may be.
Right. I mean, because if your PC doesn't have the right drivers, what could happen, Will?
Well, at its worst, your computer or elements of your computer experience may not work as intended. In many cases, when if you're speaking to a computer professional, you say, for some reason, I'm not getting sound on my computer anymore. I can't hear anything through the speakers. in many cases, the first thing that a trained technician will tell you is, have you updated your drivers? You know, have you found maybe your driver is corrupted or broken, or it needs to be updated, or have you updated your driver? And in many cases, the simple act of updating your driver will fix the problem that you are having, you know, with your hardware, whether it's, you know, getting your sound back when your sound disappeared, or improving the performance of your monitor, or improving the performance of your printer. So yes, in many cases, a problem that people are having with their PC may be due to an out-of-date or broken driver.
Now, Slimware accomplishes this by, and I kind of mentioned this in my opening announcement, using the cloud and also crowdsourcing, because maybe not one source would be correct, but you use this crowdsourcing technique, which I find to be unique, really, with Slimware Utilities, and one of the things I think is amazing about it. Can you tell us a little about how the crowdsourcing works, and how this, so people are ensured that what they're getting and what they're putting on their computers is the correct thing to put on?
Absolutely. The way in which the Slimware software is different and so effective is this crowd-sourced massive set of data that we have accumulated. And what that means is that when you run driver update on your computer, Craig, it will identify the drivers that you have running on your machine, on your PC.
Mm-hmm.
And then it will compare the drivers that you have running on your PC with the drivers that our many millions of other users have running on their machines,
mm-hmm.
on their PCs. And it will perform a match. And if our data set, if our cloud is showing that many other users are using a more up-to-date version of the driver than you are,
Mm-hmm.
it will, that implies that you are running an older version compared to, our data set, and it will alert you of this, and it will deliver the more recent, the newer driver to you in the comfort of your own home with a simple click. And so, yeah, that is really the power of the Slimware software, which is based upon a huge user-generated data set of driver information that it then uses to help other users optimize their experience.
Okay. Well, we have some calls, and we have a caller who want to ask you a question. If you don't mind, I'd like to take the call and see what he has to say. Okay.
Yeah. By all
all right. Let's go to, I believe his name is Lucas, Computer America, Craig Crossman. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hi, Lucas. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing.
Oh no, we're gonna get in a loop.
Echo?
Yeah, there is. So, what's your question for Will?
I have a question. That my mother has a HP Pavilion G6, and I did AVG, and I did a scan, and all of a sudden, I think it erased some things, and then all of a sudden, there was a virus, and then now it's not even receiving internet. It's connected, but on Chrome, it's saying like it's not available. I've tried hooking up by the Ethernet to my router.
Mm-hmm.
That hasn't worked. I've done a bunch of things, and I don't know what to do anymore.
Well, Will, could he get some help there with Slimware?
Sure. So let me just play back to you what I think I heard, which is you are no longer getting you're having problems with your internet connectivity.
Yeah, exactly. I'm getting full bars, but it's like not even working on Chrome. I've went on Firefox. I've went on Explorer, and this is iOS 7, Windows 7.
Okay, and are Explorer and Firefox working?
Not 3 of them. Nope.
None of them. So you're getting no browser, you're getting no internet connectivity whatsoever. Yeah, there may.
It says I'm getting full bars. It said I'm connected, but I'm going onto the browser and it says not available.
Well,
that is peculiar.
Well, Lucas, I thought when we screen call, I thought you had a question, running Slimware or utilities on your computer, not your mobile device.
Well, no, it's an HP
My mom's laptop.
Oh,
Yeah.
your mom's laptop. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he was saying that doing your drivers, I don't really know how to do your drivers. Like, is it just really updating it, really?
Yeah, I mean, updating your drivers is very simple with our products.
And I've updated them. And then I called HP and they said it was corrupted.
Well, you see, Slimware would help you, in that case, because
what part of what did they say was corrupted?
Can't remember actually, but some driver. It was something about B&G.
Okay.
But
look, if you have a corrupted driver, then that's exactly the kind of that is potentially exactly the kind of a great example of where having an out-of-date driver or having a corrupted driver.
All right.
Possibly.
I'll tell you what. Will, could you hold on? And Lucas, why don't you hold on? We're at the bottom of the hour, and then we'll continue and see if we can handle your question. Okay. Will, stay with us. You listen to the Computer America show. We're talking to Slimware Utilities, Will Treves, General Manager of Slimware Utilities. We got a News Tips Bulletin Review coming up as well, and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons. Accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons. Accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Tell her lawyer I was just flirting. Oh, Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the TP-Link 24-port gigabit switch. Murphy has his law, but you should also know the Winston corollary. You never fail to outgrow your stuff. We used to be good with 8 wired Ethernet ports, then 16 had leftovers. But with the tribal nature of connected home gateways and bridges and routers, we decided to jump to 24. We got in the new TP-Link TLSG1024D 24-port gigabit switch with Dumbo extra long ears for rack mounting or stick-on rubber feet for desktop use. Auto MDI MDIX means no need for crossover cables. 10K jumbo frame support means peer-to-peer large file transfers go faster. The power supply is built in, so there's no wall wart, and they've managed some power efficiencies to both reduce consumption and cut down on heating. Bottom line, between Dumbo and Jumbo and everything being pretty much no-brainer plug-and-play, the TP-Link TLSG1024D 24-port gigabit switch takes a lot of work out of the network. Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show, 33 minutes past the hour in the first hour. And we are talking to Slimware Utilities. We are talking to Will Treves, and he is the general manager of Slimware Utilities. And, right before the break, we had a call. We had a caller with a question. It seemed a little off topic first, but we brought it back around, and this is somewhere where definitely Slimware Utilities could help out. And just to recap for anyone out there who just tuning in or didn't catch the whole conversation before, we had a caller, and he had a problem with an HP Pavilion notebook
Driver.
where the 802.11 BGN Wi-Fi adapter was actually, he called the helpline and said that the adapter driver was actually corrupted.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of led us back into one of the Slimware products. And so which Slimware product, and I guess how would that solve a corrupted driver problem for Lucas?
Will.
Yeah, the nice recap. The Slimware product that I would recommend is Driver Update, and that's available at driverupdate.net. And Driver Update will identify any out-of-date drivers that you may have, and with the click of a button, allow you to update them and get newer versions of drivers that are available. And doing that periodically is a good way of ensuring that the kind of corruption that Lucas was describing doesn't happen to you.
There you go. And I know he's still listening, and so hopefully that's what you need to do is just go to the Slimware Utilities website and download the driver update, and you'll be all set. And
even for people who do this every day, and this is their job where they have to do tech support. Drivers are some of the most fickle things because they're so base, they're so low level that even if you know exactly what's happening and what the symptoms are, the cause of it can cause so many headaches because no two seem to be the same.
Exactly.
No, that's right. I mean, when you go to manufacturer websites, and look at their driver pages, it's very intimidating.
Yes, extremely so. And Slimware Utilities takes that pain out of that update process. Yeah, granted, Windows will try to it'll go and try to find the latest version, but there's so many drivers out there. You mentioned there countless really drivers. You need something that has that's constantly being refreshed, constantly being updated, and that's one of the great things about Slimware Utilities is that you have this cloud-based or crowdsource where IT professionals are making sure that these drivers match the system that you're using, and that's all done with a product like the Slimware Driver Update product. So I'm sure Lucas, we'll hear from him again, later on. I'm sure that will solve his problem. And
if not, we'll take another crack at it.
Yeah. All right. And thanks for calling. So Will, let's move on and tell us now, what do you think are some of the more interesting aspects of the new Windows 10 OS?
I think that what is most interesting about Windows 10 is not necessarily what they have added in, but some of the things that they have taken out almost. When I think it's probably safe to say that the upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 8 was potentially a little bit more than some consumers wanted or felt comfortable with. You know, Windows 8 was a pretty radical departure from previous Windows operating systems, for instance.
You're so diplomatic.
Those are very diplomatic words compared to what we've had other people say.
Oh, well, you know, I don't want to offend anyone, but yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, computer users had been using clicking on the start button for, I wouldn't say a generation, but not far from a generation, you know, that certain visual conventions, certain ways of doing things within Windows are so part of the fabric of how people use their computers that when Microsoft released Windows 8, I think some people found themselves a little bit off balance, you know, didn't quite know where they were with their computers. And so when you look at Windows 10 rather, it's interesting because it's almost like a step back in time. Microsoft has very judiciously and intelligently, I think, recognized those areas that maybe they went a little bit too far and have taken a step back, so regrouped, retreated, and reintroduced some of the things that people found very, you know, disorienting about Windows 8. For instance, the start button dialed back some of the radical visual changes, like the tiles for Windows 8. I mean, the tiles still exist in Windows 10, but they're sort of, you know, they're no longer center stage. And so I think it's a really good balance of learning your lessons of what didn't work, being honest with, you know, I think Microsoft was being very honest with itself about where it maybe went too far with Windows 8, dialing that back a little bit, and adding in some cool new features. So I think it's and the numbers, that the adoption of Windows 10 appears to have be bearing that out. I mean, the adoption of Windows 10 seems to be off to a really great start. I think I was reading that, you know, Windows 10's user share is in line with Windows 7 user share during the first week of availability in 2009, and that just bodes very well for Windows 10, and I think shows that Microsoft, I think, has learned a lot and has made has all the signs of being a success.
So, Windows 10 has certainly showed signs, or at least Microsoft has really showed signs that if they've learned anything, they've learned we're tired of supporting so many operating system versions. We're going to make everyone go to the same one. That's one of the big ones, because, you know, before they had to figure out what operating system you were on, what version, and sometimes you were on XP, 7, Vista, 8, 8.1. Now it seems like they've hit it correctly with Windows 10. You know, there's been a lot of positive press and a lot of positive reviews, and the fact that the price point is right in people's, you know, ball field at $0 if you have the right operating system. That I think is one thing that we're seeing, you know, from all the correspondents and all different people on the show, is they're doing a lot of things right in getting people to transition smoothly.
Yeah, no, I would completely agree with that. Well, I completely agree with part of what you said, which is, you know, platform holders, I think, often miss a step, you know, in platform transition. But it looks like Microsoft has regained the momentum, and I completely agree with you on that. That being said, I think that if Microsoft is trying to channel everyone into a single unifying user experience and Windows 10, there's still a hell of a lot of people out there who are using Windows 7, you know, Vista, and even XP, and they ain't going anywhere. And for various reasons, they're not going to be upgrading. And if I may sort of tie it back to my own company, Slimware Utilities, you know, that is those are the people who we help. If you have an aging PC, if you have a PC that is a good number of years old, and you're running Vista or Windows 7, and you have no intention or not even the kind of the ability to upgrade to Windows 10, then that is where a product like Slim Cleaner Plus can really help you extend the life of your PC. It can help you get the most out of the hardware that you have. So you'll, and it'll help you really get the last ounce of life out of your aging PC, so you don't have to go out and buy a new one, and you don't feel like you have to upgrade to the latest operating system.
So what you're saying that then, Will, is that for people who haven't upgraded yet, what is your recommendation to them?
Well, it depends. I mean, it depends which generation of the operating system that you're on. If you are a Vista or even XP user, it's or if you have a kind of lower level Windows 7 machine, it's kind of a case by case basis. But if you have an aging PC, you're probably not quite such a good candidate for an upgrade to Windows 10, and you may want to look into extending the life of your PC with something like Slim Cleaner Plus. If you have been running Windows 8 or 8.1 and running it happily and it's been a good experience, then there should really be nothing to stop you upgrading to Windows 10. And as you said, the upgrade strategy that Microsoft's been rolling out seems to be a good one. Like you said, you reserve your copy online, and it's free, I believe, for 1 year.
Yes,
and that's a pretty compelling offer. To get the latest gleaming model of the operating system free for a year. Why wouldn't you do that, right? So that would be my recommendation.
Right, and
assess the
And so many people used to say, well, wait till an operating system is seasoned for a while, let's stay there for a couple of months, and we're not getting that with Windows 10, because Windows 10 has actually been out for quite some time. It seems to be ready to go. And of course, with their constant upgrading now, mandatory upgrading with it, anything that would be wrong is going to get corrected, and corrected pretty much across the board. But don't forget your Slimware Utilities products, because you're going to need it. And absolutely, that's very, very important. If there's one thing that we want to impress upon you, is that when you go to Windows 10, you want to make sure that you have the...
Well, I just did my upgrade last night, and one thing I did before was, run the system utilities and run the system tools, run Slimware Utilities, and clear the cache and all that kind of stuff. Just make it as little bloat, as little problems, and don't take your problems with you, and just try to do it as fresh and as clean as possible.
So
right, no, I'd agree with that. I mean, prior to a big upgrade of your OS, giving your PC a good clean is best practice. And so you can start off with your new operating system with the least amount of bloat, and you're not bringing your problems with you, exactly as you said.
Exactly. So since you're doing all the tech trends and certainly the big picture, Will, why don't you share some of that with us, and tell what about some of the tech trends that you're seeing right now in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're seeing some of them within Windows 10 itself. I mean, Cortana, the digital assistant that is within Windows 10, well, actually, it's making a jump from handheld, Microsoft's handheld operating system to desktop with Windows 10. And if you think about the massive technology players out there, Apple has Siri, and Google has their own digital assistant, and now Microsoft is getting Cortana onto the desktop. It'll be interesting to see the extent to which the digital assistant type of software experience how important users find that within a PC, within a desktop environment, when you have, you know, a keyboard and a mouse. I mean, Siri makes a ton of sense on a handheld device where you're kind of, where the form factor is a little bit more restrictive. But I will be watching closely how Cortana makes the transition and how useful people find it within the Windows environment. So that's one thing that I'll be kind of watching quite closely.
Cortana. All right.
Yep.
It holds the potential, the promise of doing some really great things, but as you say, we'll see. We'll see. It's a little early yet. Sure. Now, why don't you speak a little bit? I know you can't talk about too much about in the future, but whatever you can share with the listeners, what are some other interesting developments on tap at Slimware?
Sure. Well, you know, one thing that we have that we're working on, and I can't share a release date yet, but it's something that we're definitely trying to work on and release as quickly as possible. Is you know, within Windows 10, one of the emerging stories is people's concern around privacy within Windows 10. What I mean by that is within Windows 10, many of Microsoft's data collection systems are turned on by default. So to be specific, you know, Cortana tracks your web searches and looks through your email to learn your browsing habits and your browsing history and your tasks. And this is used for various purposes and by Microsoft. And I think people just have a general sense of discomfort with that. They don't really intuitively like their personal data being collected, you know, in the background. But of course, many of them may not know how to change the privacy settings to prevent that from happening. And so we recognize that as a consumer need at Slimware, and one of the features that we are working on, and sadly I don't have a release date, but you know, hopefully next time I appear on the show I will, is functionality within Slim Cleaner Plus that will allow you to effortlessly and with a single click, you know, tighten up the privacy settings on your computer. So, you know, if you are one of those people who feel uncomfortable about data collection, you, with just, you know, one click, will be able to lock that down and secure that. So, don't have a release date, but it's an emerging story from the whole Windows 10 launch, and we're working on it.
I like
nice. As I said, I just did it last night, and I was almost done. Like, I was, you know, maybe 2 or 3 steps away from finishing it, and then like, it seemed like to me, imagine a giant hallway where, you know, at the very beginning you're on Windows 7 or Windows 8.1, at the end of the hallway you're on Windows 10, and it seemed like you're almost at the end, you're ready to go, you've installed the whole thing, and then there's like a little side room, like a little broom closet, and if you go in there, it's like 2 steps from the exit. If you go in there, there are all these settings, of course, plain English, easy to read, but if you didn't even notice it, if you didn't go into the settings, you wouldn't notice that there's a checkbox there for, you know, let Windows monitor the programs and apps that you install on your computer and how long you use them, you know, so that we can improve your experience. Let us track your surfing, let us track your usage, let us track your location, everything like that, all in that one little broom closet. And I can see perfectly why this is becoming an issue, because it's so easy to miss those settings if you aren't paying attention.
And not only is it easy to miss them, but they are all turned on by default.
Right.
So the burden is upon you as the user, not only to find that broom closet, but once you found it, to then go in and flip all the switches.
Right.
And it's, like I say, it's kind of an emerging story out of the Windows 10 launch. And there's a kind of building sense of unease around it. And we will see how this story develops. But, you know, we at Slimware Utilities want to help the user get their arms around that. So stay tuned.
Absolutely.
Do you guys believe in, now, of course, you know, I haven't said it on your meetings, but do you guys believe in, you know, completely, I trust Microsoft with my baby, I'm going to let them track every little thing I do, or, you know, the polar opposite, where I think that they're working with the aliens and I don't like them? and like go completely radio silent to Microsoft, or are you guys going to work out like a middle ground? Because I've actually went through them, and I don't mind sharing my data that I give to Cortana because I like that service. I want it to get better, and I don't mind Cortana checking with the voice, but everything else I can do without. So you said one button. Does that mean it's just going to be privacy on, privacy off, or are you working for different levels?
Yeah, I think it's important for me to say that at Slimware we aren't in the business of making decisions for people. We are in the business of giving people the tools and the knowledge and the ease to make the changes they want to make to their computer themselves. And for many users, I think knowing that those privacy settings exist, and then B, having the expertise to find them, understand them, and change them, is kind of a big deal. A lot of people may not know how to do that, and we haven't finalized our design of how we're going to approach this yet, but we just want to be able to make it easy for the user to understand and act on how they want to set up their privacy settings themselves. We won't be leading a user down any particular direction, say, hey, hey user, we're not going to recommend that they turn their privacy settings on or off, because everyone's different and everyone has a different view of Microsoft and the things that Microsoft are going to be using that data for, and it is up to the individual consumer to decide. Our goal at Slimware is to make it easy for users to access that functionality and change it easily and without any kind of technical expertise whatsoever.
Very clearly said, and very
good point.
It's a very good point. Well, we're almost out of time here, and
goodness,
yeah,
time has flown.
It just flies. Let me ask you this: is there anything that you want to leave our listeners with before we say goodnight that you might not have mentioned?
I think that I've probably mentioned a lot of it, and I've probably droned on way too long. And
no.
I guess I like the sound of my own voice. Sorry for blathering on too much, but I think that what I'd like to leave users with is that Windows 10 is here. It is upon us, and when users are trying to get the most out of their Windows 10 experience, Slimware Utilities is here to help you. We support Windows 10, and our products are, we believe, best in class, and we want to be the preeminent provider of PC optimization products out there. So please come to our websites and see what we have to offer.
And we have links right at our website at computeramerica.com to the Slimware Utilities. It's always up there, and you can see it on our homepage, and also under some of the pull-down menus there. You can see under the About Us, you can see Show Staff and Friends, and we have links to that. And also on all our social media, we have links to the Slimware Utilities website. Make it easy for you to find this very important and we feel very necessary adjunct to the Windows 10 operating system. And certainly you. Now, if people want to get it, they can just go to the slimwareutilities.com website and download it. Some of the
sure. Yeah, we have.
Mm-hmm.
We have our. We have our products there at Slimware Utilities, or you can go to slimcleaner.com or driverupdates.net.
Right, and I noticed that the word is free along some of them. So some of them are free, and then you and some of them are the plus versions. There's a charge to that. Is that how it works?
Yeah, the way it works is we have free products, Slim Drivers and Slim Cleaner Free, that are completely free and always will be free, but require a little bit more technical expertise to get the best out of them. And then we have two, premium products, Slim Cleaner Plus and Driver Update, that are paid products, and they have more convenience and more kind of automation built into them, so you need less. They require less manual intervention from the user to get the most out of the product. So, what you're paying for is accessibility and convenience. So it's kind of we leave it to the user. Either get the use the free products and put a little bit more work into it, or just with one click get all the functionality from the paid products, Slim Cleaner Plus and Driver Update.
All right. Well, Will Treves, again, General Manager of Slimware Utilities. I want to thank Ben. I want to thank you for being here tonight. Very enlightening, and we look forward to having you back again on the Computer America show. Hopefully, you had
it was a lot of fun,
a nice experience, and we look forward to having you again with us here soon.
Well, thanks for having me. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Okay. Take care.
Good night.
Thanks for your time.
Have a good evening.
Very much.
Bye-bye. Have a good evening.
Bye.
All right, there you go. Okay, again, Slimware Utilities, and again, Will Treves, General Manager for Slimware Utilities here on the program. And again, check them out at slimwareutilities.com, and check out Slim Cleaner and Slim Computers, Slim Drivers, all of them at the Slimware Utilities website. And now coming up the next hour, we're going to have CASIO on the show. Yes. Yeah. CASIO. Looking forward to this as well. CASIO's been on for a very long time. Was the company of the 80s, I like to think, but now they're here.
You said that, and Mr. Will said that, and they definitely work more in education, which is why they're here. They're here to talk about back to school. But yes, especially their calculator kind of area is definitely focused towards education, not exactly the consumer market in general.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to have them on as well. You're listening to the Computer America show.
Oh, and fun fact. Yeah. Yes, they still make the calculator with the roll of paper on it.
Ah, that's right.
For anyone concerned.
Okay, you're going to hear all about it in hour 2 of the Computer America show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the Computer America show, the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
Really interesting first hour with Slimware Utilities. Will Treves, interesting, talking about some new things coming from Slimware Utilities. And we look forward to having him back on the show on a monthly basis. If you missed any of the show, you certainly can listen to it again. We archive all of Computer America programs on the Computer America website. Just go to the archive page. It's right there on the pull-down menu on any Computer America page, and you can see how you can listen to it on iTunes. We have on Blog Talk Radio, a number of places offer up archives of the Computer America show. So if you missed it, whatever, you can certainly listen to it again. And so in the meantime, anything else between the first hour and now, Ben, that you forgot to mention or do you want to talk about? Or should we get right to our guest this hour?
No, just if we have time, of course, tonight we're going to do computer technology news. Again, if we can squeeze that in. But no, just first hour done, second hour. Let's get it done.
Okay. Well, our guest this hour is from a company you may have heard of them before, CASIO. CASIO has been around for a long time, and of course, very famous for their watches. But CASIO has expanded what they do for quite some time. And one of the themes this month at Computer America is back to school. And so we're going to talk to CASIO about what they have offered for students who are going back to school. Now, our guest from Casio is Nathan Austin, who is Casio's Market Development Manager for the Western region. Nathan, welcome into Computer America. How are you, sir?
Doing just fine, Craig. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for being here. Casio, a venerable company. Do you wear a Casio watch? I wore one for years. They have such really cutting edge products. I've always loved wearing a Casio watch.
Yeah.
Well, so tell me.
Yeah, I do have one. I wear our Edifice model, but you know, back in the day, some 25 years ago, I even wore those little calculator watches that are
those
so
are
iconic.
The ones that made the ladies swoon.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was the geek ID identifier, for those days. Before that it was like the pocket protector and the slide rule before that,
Yeah.
and then the calculator watch was really the demarcation.
I think you could put phone numbers in them too, or something way back then.
Yes, I had one. I had the model that actually looked like a real watch, and then the whole face flipped up. It had a little
really?
hint. And then you could actually have a little style. You could use your finger and just type things right into the watch and then close it, so it didn't look like the bulky watch, but it was very cool. And I wore that for a long time too. I did wear my share of calculator watches from Casio, though.
Yeah.
I have to admit. So I mentioned your name, and of course, you're now just a little bit about what you're the market development manager. What is it that you do? What does your title mean?
So I just sort of picked up that title. I recently, previous to that, I was working in curriculum, but I'm sort of the outreach guy for the Western region, which means I don't remember exactly how many states off the top of my head, but 12 or so states. And I'm sort of like the guy to assist teachers when they have questions about our technology, whether it be purchasing or using them in the classroom. And because mostly I work with our calculators, although we talked about watches, or people might think about keyboards or registers and stuff, but I work with calculators primarily.
Okay. So you mentioned the education industry, and of course we're doing a little bit of a back to school thing here. A lot of states have these tax-free days where you can shop and pick up everything without paying a state or local tax. I mean, there's a lot of that going around. Can you give us a background about your experience in the education industry and why you were selected by Casio to do what it is that you do?
Well, I actually was a high school math teacher for like 11 years.
I remember you guys.
Yeah. So I taught in California and Michigan for 11 years at the high school level, and then was feeling the need to do something else. And so I managed to find a job at Casio, originally working with product testing and so forth. And then because of my background in the education industry, it was a good fit for me to be sort of that middleman between the company and teachers.
Okay, so that worked out to be a nice fit for you, I would think.
Absolutely. I really enjoy it. I get to keep my hands in education to a certain extent, but also get to play around with new technology and how to use it effectively.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you find yourself, whenever you approach teachers or, get to talk to someone who are going to be using these calculators daily or hands-on with students, like, I can imagine that Casio, of course, would give you, these are the features, these are the talking points, yada, yada, yada. But then when you actually go and talk to a math teacher, do you kind of pull up your own experience and say, all right, teachers are going to find this, and this way more important or way more interesting than, some of the other ones that they're trying to make? Like, do you pull in your experience and say, this is what people are actually going to like about this calculator?
I certainly try to do that. I am not the guy that makes a lot of the development or design decisions per se, but when I'm talking to teachers and trying to, help them use the calculators effectively, I think the experience definitely helps there, because I come from a standpoint having used them in the classroom myself.
Right.
All right. So I guess my next question would be, a little background or a brief description of Casio's history as an education technology manufacturer. I guess that's how you would classify.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I wanted to refresh my own memory because I'm dating myself. I'm still a relatively young guy, but I graduated in the early '90s and went to college in the '90s, and so my experience with Casio is only working with the company for the last 7 years. And I know a little bit about our previous products, but I was like, I'm curious how far back we go. And it turns out that it was in the late 50s that they made the first electric, what they called compact calculator. And by compact, it meant it was only like the size of a desk. You can look it up. It's pretty fascinating. They have a nice Wikipedia page for it. But that was kind of how they got their start in technology. And obviously, we've come a long way. In the 70s, they started making personal calculators. And then in the mid 80s, they made the first graphing calculator ever. It was a Casio product, which is not what a lot of people think of first when they think of graphing calculators, but it was a Casio innovation. And since then, we have a lot of scientific calculators and graphing calculators, et cetera. But
are those?
Yeah, that's I don't.
Are those the ones of demand, or you have? We're going to talk about the different range. It looks to me like you have like 3 basic categories. You have your basic calculator, and then you have what you call the fraction and scientific calculator.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
That allows you to do musical creations on your watch. You've got, as you say, you've got these fueled by solar power.
Right.
You have so many of these different products. And of course, the CASIO makes label printers and cash registers and digital cameras and projectors. I mean, it goes on and on. It's just amazing. The company itself is truly amazing. So again, if people want to find these products, do they go to stores or they go to the CASIO website? Where do they go?
They can go to the Casio website, but they can probably more easily go to the stores. It just kind of depends on the what do you want to say, what they're getting and where. Some music stores sell our keyboards. Obviously, Amazon, Target, Walmart have a lot of these products. The projectors you mentioned are really cool. We have one now without a bulb.
Wow.
I don't know. It's like lasers and smoke and mirrors is all I don't know I don't know the technology behind it, but anyone who's ever had to shell out several $100s to replace a bulb will appreciate a projector where there is no bulb to burn out on you.
Wow, that is you've got the Echo Light
Good
series.
to see Casio's working on Magic. That's a highly underserved market.
I think it's called Lamp Free. I think is what the technology.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, Lamp.
You should check those out. Those are cool.
They're slim. They have one called the Rush Hour. But again, if you're worried about the bulb, here's a projector, no bulb, lamp free. Nathan, I want to thank you so much for being with us here tonight on the show. It was a lot of fun, and again, you can check everything at the CASIO website, and we have a link to that at computeramerica.com. Nathan, thanks for being here on the show. It was a real pleasure having you.
Hey, thanks so much for having you. It was a pleasure talking to you guys.
All right, keep up the good work. Take care. Good night. Good night.
Bye.
Bye. All right, there he goes. Again, CASIO, Nathan Austin, and
Nathan Evans is going to be on later in the month.
Yes, he will. Yeah, he's our from Pop Zara. But just look at all the stuff at CASIO. I mean, they really have an amazing.
You'd be surprised what they make. They're not just watches and calculators. They're projectors. They're mobile devices. They're label printers. They have a lot of products.
Yeah, they have label printers, the little tiny handheld ones.
Cameras.
Yeah, digital cameras. Again, the digital pianos and the electronic keyboards that they make. Again, you can see all of that at the home. At
90 seconds.
/products. So check it out. All right. Well, that about wraps up the program. Coming up tomorrow night is going to be Bond. Ralph Bond is going to be joining us here. Ralph is one of our favorite correspondents here on the program, and Ralph is with Autodesk. And some of the topics that he's going to be talking about is 3D printing news, of 3D printers building entire buildings. He's got
60 seconds.
Of course, he's got stories on Windows 10.
And fun fact, I don't think I've announced this tonight on the show, but yes, I have Windows 10, and we'll talk a little bit more about it next time we have news.
Ooh.
And just, hey, from now, personal experience instead of all the correspondence.
There it is. Even a smart camera that will warn you when a gun enters your home. Like, I mean, he's got some great stories here.
That's creepy.
Yeah. But
they're walking around on their own. That's not good.
Exactly. All right, so that about wraps it up. Again, thanks so much for CASIO for being here tonight, and thanks also to Slimware Utilities. Absolutely, Slimware Utilities for being here with us, and we will have them back again next month, same time, same station. So until tomorrow,
10 seconds.
Craig Crossman, hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.